Hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Red Fox. Welcome to Mining Roundtable. I have no idea what episode we're on at this point, but I'm joined
14.
by 14. All right, 14 it is. I'm joined by none other than ChumpChangeXD and the Hobbyist Miner. How are you all doing? It's been a little bit. How you doing, ChumpChange?
Good, man. Good. Staying busy. How about you guys? What about you, hobbyists? How you doing?
Good. Getting back into things. It's felt great to kind of jump back into content creation again. So much to do. I feel like the list never ends.
Right.
Yeah,
you took like what, a week or two off? Is that?
I don't know, about 2.5 weeks maybe. I had some videos scheduled out, so that put me in a good place. So it was like a good 2.5 weeks or so. And why it was nice not to the content grind, it also was like, oh my gosh, I have so much content to do and so many partnership products to work on and stuff like that. So it's nice to get back into the swing of things. Absolutely.
I think I've been in the same. I've been in the same mode, right? Taking a little bit of time off, back in it right now. But thank God for ChumpChange, man, filling the gaps for us. That dude,
pumping it out,
holding it down by myself.
Yeah, man. I got videos to catch up on. I was watching the A2000s or something. I can't remember. You took like the shrouds off of.
Yep.
Man, you've been non-stop over there.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling, man? You feeling all right?
Yeah, good. I got to. I got all the server cases right. They finally got delivered, and I purchased them. By the way, for anybody that's gonna leave it in the comments that we got it for free. I purchased them.
Good job.
Yeah, so I ended up getting them, and now I just gotta repaste everything, like all my GPUs, because they've been running for like a year and a half. You know what I mean? So I started little spreadsheet, writing them down, going rig by rig, and doing all my GPUs. I'm like, best way to do it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of work. It's definitely time consuming, let's put it that way. And it's like I feel like people are gonna get bored of it because I'm like just 100 Octominer videos in a row, but I'm like I have to fill these things. And then I'm just gonna do some testing. But the fan shroud today, if you watch today's video, I took apart for the Win 3 GPUs, like 3080s and 3080 Ti, and I just put them in there completely naked, like with nothing, and then I added some heat sinks on the back, and they actually cool like 10 degrees cooler on the memory, which is cool. And the cores are a little cooler with the fans off, and I'm obviously saving electricity, so it's kind of neat.
How's it like not seeing the rainbow though on the for the Win 3s,
honestly,
dude?
I mean, you don't look at
RGB.
the server cases like you do open air rig, so it's really not too bad. Could be worse, I guess.
I also want to acknowledge that I got a crypto shirt on. Hobbyist has a crypto shirt on, and ChumpChange Under Armour.
Sponsored by Under Armour.
Always wear Under Armour,
Dude.
I just
imagine your closet is just like Under Armour t-shirts.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, it's like a couple collared shirts, all Under Armour, and like a Flux shirt. That's it.
A Flux shirt. That's awesome.
That's literally it. I actually just got I ordered some from Crypty.co, but I got to I have to go and pay for that. Actually, you guys just reminded me. I think he sent me an invoice through PayPal or whatever. I was like, yeah, give me 4 shirts. I need Ethereum Classic, Raven, and like Ergo or something. I forget. I just wanted one of each,
It's crazy how many, like I have a section in my drawer now that is just like crypto shirts from Crypty, from Furo sent me these, and then there's another company that sent me a few. I'm just like, it's cool, but it's like wild that I have all of these clothes.
Right.
I threw out a ton of like other old shirts that were unrelated type of deal, and I was like, oh, I got other shirts to wear. I'll throw those on as needed. And every once in a while, when I'm out, somebody will be like, oh yeah, they're all like, oh Bitcoin, oh whatever. I'm like, yeah.
I imagine like 10 years from now, I'm gonna be like staining like a piece of furniture and using like a dead coins shirt.
100%. Ravencoin light right there. Sure. Ravencoin light.
Oh man,
that's awesome.
So one of the things that has been on my mind, and I think ChumpChange just mentioned Octominers, and I threw a question in my Discord before we got started. Just anything anybody wants us to talk about as we film this. And funny enough, GPU Risers jumped in there and said, "Talk about risers, guys." But one of the things I was thinking about, and we're talking about this before we got started, is so many. I think all of us have really fallen in love with server cases. And I guess this is. I'll have a story on this in a little bit. But like, when's the last time you guys actually like built like a classic mining rig with like motherboard and risers and wires everywhere. And like, what are your thoughts on going from that, both as a miner and a content creator, to server cases? Hobbyist, you want to get us started? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so there's two things there, as you said, miner and then content creator. So like all of us have discussed before on the fact of like server cases are awesome, like airflow, design, getting things up and running quickly. But they're not appealing when it comes down to content creation. Like I show my mining room and it's just filled with server cases. It's like, all right, cool. Versus actually having frames from the flip side of it. So the last one I built was about a month ago, which was my 6600 rig. That I had gotten a few of the cards from you. I had purchased a few other ones. And I remember that. And your question actually comes to mind because when I'm building that, it took hours to not only build it, but film. You know, like people don't realize when you're filming everything and changing angles and stuff like that, it's so much time versus like I could do this in an hour or two. And but with like a server frame or a server rig, man, it's like bam, 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 plug in the SSD and plug it in and off you go. So there's definitely that ease of use coming from the miner side and like looking at your time spent, stuff like that. So I agree with you. I love the server cases. Yes, they're not as eye appealing, but when we're talking about summer and we're talking about heat and airflow like that, and it's you're not really going to find anything better when it comes down to airflow and efficiency. So that's my little rant on it. What about you, Chump Change? When's the last time you built? I guess you built something the other day though. It was like a quasi dealio, right?
Yeah. So I did the AAA Wave Dredge 2 frame.
Yeah.
And I bought some like $90 friggin' server fans from Amazon, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to make like a little server case out of a frame because I have a bunch of, you know, ASRock H110s, and I'm like, I don't want to throw them away. They're freaking awesome. You know, I like those boards. So I'm gonna, you know, convert some of my rigs into styles like that. I think it'll be pretty neat. But it actually performed extremely well. And it was nice having like the server stuff on the second level. You know what I mean? And I had all the wires, PSU underneath. I mean, the only thing that sucks is like the handles, you can't really carry it around. Yeah. So, I mean, whatever. But I think it's interesting with the whole server case thing because, I mean, recently, the last couple of videos I did, I'm just messing around with them, man, trying to find different ways to cool cards that might help somebody else and, you know, try to solve some problems with like the cards that are just getting too hot, like by putting the heat sinks on the back of the, you know, the actual PCB with some thermal pads or whatever. It's just, I don't know. It's interesting to me. So I'm having fun doing it just because I need to do the maintenance on the GPUs anyways. And hey, I might get some wall art out of it. I have like 500 shells of GPUs behind me on the floor. It's awful. But yeah, I mean, what about you, Mike? Like, what do you think? I mean, I don't know. I like building them, but like at the same point, I'd rather have server cases just, you know, working.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And like the ease of just, you know, essentially slotted GPU. I think we might have talked about this on a previous mining roundtable or something we did together. It's just like the era of server cases is amongst us right now.
Right.
And I think that's true for pretty much all the content creators that you see out there. Of course, there's sponsorships and all that stuff happening. But you even see it in the community. I'm sure you guys do see it in your communities too, where people are picking up Octominers or other server cases as well. And I think part of that is probably like the advent of GDDR6X memory temperatures and keeping all those cards cool.
Right.
And maybe something around availability and all that. But for me, it's like, man, this is the absolute best, especially considering those GDDR6 cards that run, you know, really hot, where maybe I don't have to put like 1660 supers in a server case would feel kind of like a waste.
Yeah.
And this is something that I just ran into because I have, you know, some GPUs I need to get mining, and I'm sitting there looking and I'm like, okay, I have everything to build like an old school rig. I got a frame I got to put together. Like, I'm sorry, in my mind, I'm like, I got to build that frame. Okay, yeah, right? Like 6 months ago. I'm like, I got to build that frame. That's like 30 minutes. Right, for like a AAA Wave or GPU risers one. God forbid I got to build a Veta frame. That's like a half.
Oh my god!
Don't even bother.
I'd rather watch paint dry. Those Veta frames, man.
So I'm like, all right, I got to do that. And like, all right, I got get a motherboard, get the processor, RAM installed, hard drive, like then I got to figure out like wattage loads and like server power supply, do I have enough cables? I'm like going through all that in my head. I'm like, all right, that's just the miner part. And then I'm like, okay, and now I have to film all of that in a way that's like appealing, that they haven't seen this 1,000 times. And I'm like, that's like a day. And then airflow is going to be terrible, probably, if I put any high-end GPUs in there.
100%.
And like that's where my head was at. And I'm like, man, or I can just like pop in a server case, pop in an Octominer, Minebox, whatever else is out there, and just be done and know that all of that time and worrying about temperatures is really taken care of.
Well, we could bring up the real reason why you need server cases, because you won't stop buying 3090s.
Well, 100%. Don't let this man lie to you.
Dude,
but it comes to like,
you
know, the preparation of the merge. You know, that's kind of where my whole mind's going. I want to make sure my cards last a long time. And if I need to turn into mining Flux, mining Raven, whatever the case may be, it's going to be something that's going to be real detrimental to the way my rigs are running, and they're going to be shutting down all over the place. And that's not something I want, which is kind of the reason I'm like, all right, you know, I'll have a couple open air frames just to like chill around the studio and like do stuff with. But again, that's on the content creation side. If I was just a miner and didn't do any type of YouTube stuff, 100% I would do server cases all day, ASICs all day. Like, just, I don't care. I don't care how loud they are. I don't care if I look at them ever. I just want them to run. Like, that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where I come from.
Yeah,
but
that's a really good thought. I you know, I didn't think about the fact of like, you know, if and when Ravencoin ever pops off again. I doubt it. I mean, but we'll see.
Right.
Whoa. Take it easy over there.
Yo, I know, right?
This is
I
not
know.
technical analysis. He doesn't know.
Don't tell BBT. I know.
Financial advice.
BBT loves his Ravencoin. But if it does again, the nice thing is like, you know, I'm still rocking my 470s, the 12 of them, because they're doing awesome on ETC. But it's like, if all of a sudden Ravencoin breaks out again, I don't mind pivoting to it on those because I'm okay with the heat because they're in the Octominers. So like, that's really something to keep in mind. And this is not like a, hey, let's go ahead and tout Octominer. It's just, that's one of the most well-known server case brands out there, and we all use them and such. But yeah, I mean, you have a really good point. I think next Friday, I'm actually, over the next week and a half, actually leveling some ground out here. And next Friday, I'm going to be building the shed that I got and doing a lot with that. But I'm putting all my enclosed stuff out there. So like my new S19J Pros going out there, my Jazz Miner, all my Octominer cases, everything enclosed. That's louder, I'm going to put out there. Now, I'm hoping my neighbors don't complain because it's about 25 feet between the shed and my neighbor's house.
Oh, they're going to kill you.
We'll see.
I would kill you.
So
mad.
So we'll see what happens. I may end up having to do some sound deadening in there or some hot and cold aisle stuff. But that's all going out there. And then in my mining room, I'm just going to do open frame rigs moving forward.
Yeah.
It's kind of my goal because I'm like, great. Like, that literally is going to cut that room in half right now. Like that room, because I have 3 server cases that I need to put rigs in. So one of them is actually going to be, I took a note from your idea. Like, you did the mineral oil with your crazy 570, the MSI 570, like the worst graphics card in the world when it comes down to heat management. I'm taking a note from you. I'm taking all my 570s tonight or tomorrow, stripping out the shrouds and the fans, and I'm sticking them in an Octominer case.
Do one at a time. Do one at a time.
One at a time. All right, I like it.
Just to make sure it works, because those things get so freaking hot, and like, you'd be pissed if you stripped them all and then had to put them all back together.
You know what? I'd be like, screw chump change. But yeah, because like right now I have 8 total 570s mining Ergo, and those GPUs, just the MSI ones, get like 77, 78, like 79. Like they just get up there. And I've actually been doing some research looking into with my community. We've been trying to find documentation that shows the true thickness of those thermal pads, because everybody I know has replaced this. Everybody I know has replaced them, and then everybody's going to give you a different answer. And
I looked online too. Could not find it for the life of me. I was like, what size?
Yep. I found the 580 that has the exact same design for it. So I'm going to try those thermal pad thicknesses, but they're super thin. And I'm like, what in the world? But some people say it's thin because it needs better contact with the heatsink. So anyways.
That's what I was wondering, actually.
Yeah.
Just sorry to cut you off. But yeah,
no.
I rebuilt that 570 and I just didn't make a video of it yet because it still gets super hot. And I used the 2mm GPU risers pads. And those pads, like it will not stay cool. You know what I mean? Like it's cool, but it's not. What was it?
0.75.
Yeah, so that's what I was wondering. I'm like, I must need to use a super thin pad because the thick ones clearly, like when he gave those to us, Anonymous Miner, right?
Yep.
They still got super hot, and that was like 3mm.
I love and hate him. I love and hate Anonymous Miner. Yeah. So I'll have to send it to you. It's like this diagram, and it's weird because there's thermal pads in places on this diagram that I look at. I'm like, why in God's name is there a thermal pad there? So it's really interesting the way it's designed out, like, and the way that the heatsink, like, there's the back memory chips that aren't even covered, and the heatsink doesn't even touch them. It's weird the way the design is on it. But anyways, back to server cases and stuff. So yeah, so I'm considering like moving those all outside. And going that route, but I'm still going to stick with as Red Fox had brought up. Like I still want to stick with some of these open frames because I do enjoy them. They're eye appealing, and at the same time they are enjoyable to build. You know, like there was one night I built a rig and I was like, I'm not doing a video on it, and it was the most enjoyable thing to literally drink a beer, throw on a podcast, and build a rig. And not give two shits about it. It was like, wow, this is so enjoyable. It's like I don't know if you guys run into the same thing when it comes down to like content creation versus like being a miner.
It comes down to like every time we're alone, we have to record. And it's like we don't have alone time ever. Because it's like your wives think it's alone time, but it's not alone time. We're with the camera. Like people are watching us, you know. So I totally get it. Totally can relate.
I think the biggest thing I missed from the pre-YouTube days is just being able to like put some music on and like just build something or put some music on and sit and test hash rates, and like I can't do that now. It's got to be like as quiet as I can get it down there. But yeah, man.
A few days ago, I did. I actually saw ChumpChange like doing maintenance on his rigs, and I put you on ChumpChange, your live stream, and I had two 1080 Ti's that I have that needed new fans and new thermal pads, and it was like perfect. I had a beer. I'm listening to ChumpChange in the background, complain about all his cards and his fans, and I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here. My back was turned, and I'm just working. And I was like, this is so enjoyable. Like just having not listening to ChumpChange, but having the chance to just work on. And plus, it went like it was so quick. It's like bam, bam, bam. I'm done. I'm good to go. But just as you had said, ChumpChange, like the reminder of like trying to increase the longevity of your cards. I use the critical pads, the green critical pad ones that you've seen kind of floating around. I got some. I think Panda got some. And those work really well. Like they'll tell GPU risers, but those work really well. And I was really happy with those. And I used just like Amazon or eBay fans. You know, at this point, I don't spend big bucks on fan replacements. And I dropped the temperature 20 degrees with new fans and new thermal pads and new thermal paste. So huge thing for people to just remember that, especially on older cards, like the 10 series cards. I mean, if you haven't done that already, something to keep in mind.
Can I just bring something up?
Yeah.
Why aren't all fans made like this?
Dude. Yep.
What the frick? The first time I ever took these out was today, right? Oh my god,
man.
What brand is that?
This is the Sapphire Nitro.
Oh yeah,
we've talked about those.
Oh my god, like why?
Yeah,
I like. There is no reason any other fan should be any other way. Like it's just I don't understand it. When I took them out, I was like, this is ridiculous. I hate Zotac even more.
I'll pay the premium. I'll pay the premium for Sapphire.
I think they have like a patent on it or something. Why has nobody else used that? That's
I don't know. It's amazing though.
There must be some kind of patent on it.
Yeah,
for people that can't, you know, that don't know what it is, it's like it just literally clicks in. You just slide it in, push it down, and screw it. That's it. And then it just pops out. It's so stupidly easy. I don't understand it. It just
what are you saying? Are you saying you don't have to take off the shroud, and then you don't have, or you don't, I'm sorry, you don't have to take off the heat sink, and then then after the heat sink's off, you can get to the screws to remove the shroud, which then you can remove the fan and all the cables.
Stupid little clip that you're gonna break when you try to unplug it.
You can do what I do and just pull the fan out hard, and then put oil back in and smash it back in.
I tried that the other day. I'm like, I'm gonna try Red Fuck.
Everyone I did. I tried to do what you did. I was like, there's no freaking way. There's no way that works. I went and I broke a van. I was like, God damn it.
WD-40. I tried WD-40. I'm like, I'm gonna give it a. I'm like, I'm gonna.
The grandma sewing oil over there.
Yeah, the sewing machine oil. That's what you got to use.
Sponsored by Grandma's Sewing Machine Oil.
I think I told you guys, somebody sent me sewing machine oil. They work for a sewing machine oil manufacturer. I still have to use it.
That's amazing.
So when I was looking at my going back to server cases and building frames old school style, I think my method right now, because I have GPUs I want to get mining, is just get like if they're like 6600 XTs, the 16 series, like those can be in open air frames. That's fine.
Right.
But any of the like 3080s, 3090s, any of the TI, 3070 Ti's, 3080 Ti's, those got to go in server cases, man. And I think same thing as Hobbyist is probably what my plans are, at least my immediate plans, since I want to move everything to garage, is just get all of these server case out there first with ASICs, Jazz miners, all that stuff, and then put like the lower powered cards in open frames, and probably just keep them in my grow tent. Until I can like finalize everything out there. But I'm thinking that's the route I'm gonna go. And it's getting hot out, and I gotta get moving because that basement is probably like 90 degrees. Yeah, and I got so much out in the open air now that just raising the ambient temperature, which then is what's getting sucked into the grow tent. I will say this though, I have a video coming out probably this week on it. I fully replaced all the Vivo Sun fans with the AC Infinity 8 inches. What a difference that makes in there. Yeah. What a difference. And they're only like a little higher CFM, I think. But there's something about it that like the cards are running like at least 5 degrees cooler, even with the basement temperatures at the temperature they've been at. So beyond impressed with those fans for sure. I know Hobbyist, you've been using those for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I have in my mining room. I mean, I did Vivo Sun originally, and then parted ways with them, and went with AC Infinity, and then partnered with AC Infinity. And in my mining, I had bought them before I ever partnered with AC Infinity, and I did the whole 6-inch deal. And I learned my lesson. You guys told me, but I learned my lesson, which was like 8-inch, and I pushed that to like, I have a grow tent channel on my Discord, and people constantly are like, oh, I just have one rig, I'm just going to go with a 6-inch. So I'm like, just get the 8-inch, spend the extra money, and as you grow, it'll be worth it. And it is. I mean, and I've even gone the route of replacing them. So I have 3 left in there to do. I have 8 total inline fans in that room, and I have 3 left that I'm going to swap out. They're 6-inch, swap out with the 8-inch, and put the reducers on, because it is night and day. Like the other day, I went out side, when I'm watching my kids out I have a swing set on the side here where my vents exhaust, and I always go out there and check and make sure. And I'm like, why are these not blown as much? And then I forgot, like, oh, these are at like speed 6 versus 8. And man, just bumping them up, like if people don't understand, they have a speed of 0 to 10. And I bumped it up on my phone because I have the Bluetooth ones. And just going from speed of 6 to speed of 8 out of 10, it dropped my room over 10 degrees. And I was like, that is insane, like insane. So yes, I don't know what it is about the AC Infinity versus the Vivo Sun. I mean, they're marketed the same way with CFM, whatever, but they work. They're awesome.
That's cool.
How's your temps over there, Chump Change, with spring and summer coming? Man.
I got to get that fan out of my ductwork. That's like on my list, but I've just been ripping all the rigs out of there and putting them in server cases and putting them in front of the tent because it's just, I'm like, my house upstairs is getting so hot. I'm like, I can't keep them in this tent. I'd rather just pump into the basement and suck out whatever it can out the window until I change that fan. But I'm actually going to be taking, so the crypto mining trailer that I was going to do, I'm going to do again. I'm going to get it into my backyard, and I have to, well, not in my backyard, but like behind my fence. So I own a bunch of land past my like actual backyard for like my kids to play in. I'm just gonna back it in there and run some electrical over to it and get this thing figured out so I can put like the solar set up in there and all the
cool.
Miner stuff. It's gonna be a nightmare, but yeah, I'll that'll be fun. I mean, at least gets the server cases out of the house and the heat won't be an issue. But in the winter, I'll be bringing them back in, so I'll leave the grow tent there all set up and just ready to go for when it's cold again.
ChumpChange, do you ever think you're gonna run out of things to do, ChumpChange?
Never. Yeah, dude, I'm always busy, man. It's crazy.
I love it. I love it.
Insane. I have so much crap to do. Did you give up on your grow tent idea?
Oh, lay it down one? That I was talking about? Or
well,
what?
That one and the just like building one in your basement.
Oh, yeah. Because me and Hobbyist talked about this, and he's like, don't be stupid and just use your garage.
Yeah, just do it.
And I was like, yeah, dude, but I don't want to run. And I was talking about running all this by you, ChumpChange, like, I don't know, weeks ago. Because I got the sub panel. Yeah, sub panel out in the garage that I ran for 60 amps. 125 amp sub panel. I just need to replace the main wiring coming off my 200 amp in the basement so it can carry that load. So I got it all. I mean, it's some substantial cable. It's like I think it's 1.0 aluminum
like
that I bought.
Yeah.
So I just got to run that. It's it's 90-foot run I got to do across my basement right into the garage, and it's just like
that's you invite the hobbyist over for the weekend.
Yeah, dude. It's like
and then you put him to work.
I told him, I'm like, dude, pay me in beer and pizza, and I'll just come over and help you.
Also, the problem is I've been working on my house, so my garage is like a mess. So I got to like get all of that cleaned up, make it nice, run the electrical out there. So that's why it's like I feel like I have all of these things that are just piled up where I've like GPU. If you watched my last video and you look behind me, there's just like 30 GPUs just sitting there on the shelf.
I hate you.
Yeah, I know. And it's just like, okay, what step do I have to take next to make some progress here? And it's like I got to get these mining because like that's like a lot of money sitting around so they can start working for themselves. But also that's going to like make my house super hot. So then I also got to move stuff into my garage. But to move stuff in my garage, I got to run electrical. I got to clean it. So it's just, it's just like one thing.
The punch list.
Yeah, dude, it's like one thing after another. And like cleaning my garage is not film worthy, in my opinion, to post on YouTube. So it's just like, that's like a day burned where I also can't get content out. So it's just trying to like, forever balance all of that stuff, but still try to feel like I'm making a little bit of progress here. So that's a little insight into my brain these last couple of weeks.
Now, do you have a 1 or 2 car garage?
It's a single car.
You don't use it at all, like your wife or anything?
No. It was supposed to be. The reason there's a 60 amp out there, I was gonna make it a workshop because I like woodworking, and I was gonna put, I ran all the electrical for a high power table saw and all that. So that's the reason, and that's what a lot of the stuff I have out there was just like tools. So I just, there's nobody's parking in there. I think we parked a car in there one time since we bought this house.
Like I don't park in mine either. It's ridiculous. But every day, like we don't come in the front door, we come in the garage door. So the wife has to walk through all my crap that's just like in the garage, and I'm like, so that's kind of the reason I moved everything back down here because that would be the perfect spot. Just put like all my rigs in the garage. But I get I get that she doesn't want to deal with that every day. So I'm like, you know what, I'll figure something out. But
you're definitely
there's no cars in there.
Yes.
Yeah. My garage is filled. Like our garage, I have a 2-car garage, and it's filled with just like lawnmower and push mower and all that. Snow blower. But then the other half of it is all mining stuff from the basement, like airflow stuff and vents and fans and hard piping and AC infinity boxes and all of that. And a lot of stuff from the basement that you would normally have in a basement, but since we've been trying to redo it, I'm in the same boat, can't use it. But one thing you had said, Mike, was the fact of like, all this stuff's piling up, and I was the same way. And now I'm to the point where like I have hardware sitting around that I can't use because of one of their electric's not my issue. It's heat now. Like I don't want to, for example, the S9TJ Pro, I don't want to put in here. It's going to scream one, and 2, it's going to pipe out the heat. So I'm literally like, I went to my wife, I'm like, I have this, and this is how much it makes per week. We're buying a shed. We're fast tracking the shed. And she was like, absolutely, let's do it. So it's like, okay. So literally in the next like week and a half, like that's my focus. Like I'm getting out a few videos this week, and literally next week, probably going to film as much as I can, but I'm not going to put out any videos because it's like I need to get this done. Like I need to dig into the ground and flatten the ground out where it's at because it's half of it's sloping. So I need to dig down to flatten it because then it'll be like a little bit down. I gotta build the foundation to it, everything like that. Build this shed, and trust me, you're gonna see the shed and be like, "What the hell?" It's literally called like a Rubicon. It's called a Rubicon plastic garden shed, and it's like these thick walls, like these paneled walls and stuff. Because I'm like, I want something I can use for like a year and a half. Knowing me, it's gonna be like 3 years. That's just the way it happens. But it's like I don't want to go spend $3,000 on a shed when I need it like now. I need it a month ago. So I pulled the trigger. I got it. We're gonna make it work. I'm gonna reinforce the walls with 2x4s and plywood, like all that types of stuff. But everything's on hold now because of that. Like it's gonna be a clusterfuck. Yeah. I know.
If it's your brand of like 470s and these cheap cars that you go buy this like Rubik's Cube whatever shed that you bought.
Let me find it. I'm finding it right now. Yep, 100%.
It's just gonna like more work in the end. It's like, dude. Yeah, I gotta reinforce this plastic shed with 2x4s. Just buy a real shed, dude.
He's gonna spend $80 a sheet of plywood.
Yes. You know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
So expensive plywood, man.
Here, I'm putting it in our chat right now so you can laugh at me. I put it in our chat so you can laugh at me.
I gotta look at it.
But it's because it was cheap. It was cheap, and I was like, this will do the trick, and it'll get me by. And I was like, and you know what? If it works, it works. And my wife and I
real?
What? The shed or the price?
It looks like it's painted, like it's fake. That's so weird, the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3D rendered.
Look at the second picture down. And those of you not familiar, so it's a black paneled 6x8 shed, is the way it's designed and everything like that.
So I mean it's not
no.
Not horrible, but yeah, I know what you're saying. It's like thin.
Well, and so the walls are thinner, so I'm going to reinforce it with plywood and 2x4s because I'm going to be cutting into it. And actually, I took some great recommendations from ChumpChange regarding like what are those vents called? There's a name.
Oh, the gable vents.
The gable vents that you could put filters in. That's going to be one whole side, and then the opposite side is all literally going to be 1600 CFM shutter fans. Like I'm buying.
This thing's gonna freaking implode.
Yeah.
Don't do it right.
I was like, first strong wind, there goes the shed.
Yeah. Oh man,
I'm literally going to
tuck in.
It's literally my goal is to make it a wind tunnel. I'm like, this thing's just it's gonna be. You know what, Red Fox, you're right. It fits my brain.
Perfect.
And the reason I didn't go crazy was because one, we're just going to pull the trigger and hire contractors to finish our basement. Like I don't have time. Literally, I don't have time to finish it now. So I'm doing that. So that's going to be a few thousand to do. And then in order to do what we need to outside, and you might see it once I do some filming, I need to have a retaining wall installed. I have to have the land flattened. And then I'm doing 2 sheds on this lot area that it's going to be. So now we're not talking a few bucks. Like this is $800. Now we're talking like 10 to 15 grand for everything. So it's like $800 and me half-assing it, or 15 grand to do it right. So I'm like, I'll go with $800 for right now.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see what happens. And we'll kind of go, or it'll be great content and it'll be lesson learned. We'll see where it goes.
What are you doing for power and networking to get out there?
So the nice thing is this is literally up against my garage. And so my garage is where my panel is. It's where I ran all of this electrical. So we're literally talking from the panel to where this is 10 feet.
Nice.
Which is awesome. Is awesome. So my electrician guy is actually coming by next week. Him and I are actually doing a video on the meter box together. It'll be kind of fun to have an electrician and discuss a little bit. So him and I are going to review my panel because I'm using about 6,500 watts in that room next door. So it's not like I'm using all my 30 amp 240 volt total. So I'm going to have him kind of look at my how much I'm using. I have a 200 amp circuit and kind of figure out like, hey, what do I got left? Like, what's my room for flexibility? And can I put 3 more out there and just kind of see where I stand? Like I got the room in my panel right there. So it's like, cool. But is it too much? Because as soon as I get to a point where it's like, you have too much, then it's like, all right, we gotta start talking about other opportunities here, because I'm not putting a 400 amp at my house. Like, let's be honest here. Like, that's crazy. So that's kind of my plan. And then networking, I'm gonna follow the same path on my electrical did. It's gonna run across my basement. It pops up through there into my garage, and then I'm gonna run right out through my garage and then pop into where it needs to. So it shouldn't be too bad, actually. I say that now, but you know, we'll see what happens.
Just don't run, if you're gonna run them both through like the wall or whatever, make sure you
run
do them
together.
Separate. Yeah, because like it'll interfere with the network.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I'll do. I'll run them separate there. The nice thing is when I did the electrical, I did a panel in my drywall, so I can unscrew the panel and I have a nice like 3 foot by 3 foot area to work with and everything. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, it'll make for great content too. And yeah, I mean, once it's up and running, I mean, I got all this stuff. It's like where you're at, Red Fox. It's like I got all this stuff, maybe not a bunch of 3090s, but I got all this stuff that's sitting around that's not mining that I need a home for.
Yeah, dude, that's where I'm at right now. So I'm just trying to chip away at it as much as I can. And then one thing I did, video coming up, is just like, what can I rotate out that's least efficient, at least temporarily, and get better cards in. So I had the Crypto Caverns RX 580 server case with 8 of those in, and I just, it's actually kind of cool. So I took all of them out and replaced them all with 6600 XTs. And like my mega hash is essentially the same, but I went from over 1,000 watts of power to about 600 watts of power. That's huge. That's just like less heat, you know, less power used. I'm like, all right, I feel good about that. Like that's progress. So like, what else? I think I'm going to get the 5700s out and get some 3070s in and just try to like chip away at it that way. So I can like have these older cards around and like just have them on the real low priority list. Like I'll get them back up maybe eventually, but it's at least better to have some better cards mining than some of those older ones mining right now. So like that's the small things I'm trying to do to chip away.
Yeah, no, it's smart. I mean, I was just looking, I was curious right now. It looks like the 580 is over $1 now per day, which is nice. I may swap that rig. I have a 8-card 580 rig on Ethereum right now, but it's being paid out in BTC. So I was like, well, I might as well put these to work somehow. Let's just build that BTC wallet. But I might swap them back now, especially with the merge getting pushed off to an unforeseen time period now. It's like, all right, well, we have a little more potential here. Let's kind of build up that ETH wallet. So that might be something I do. I'm really curious to see if we see GPU prices go back up a little bit now because of that, or what? What are your guys' thoughts on that whole change of things?
I mean, I think I honestly think people are less scared now. That's kind of, you know, a good thing, but I don't know if it's really going to affect the market or the people going out buying more cards. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's going to change their mind. I really think it's just like a saving grace. Like, oh, okay, now I feel better that I bought this card last month. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's going to be like, oh, I need to go out and get more now. That's just my opinion. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think that too, because I mean, I know ChumpChange, you posted a short on this, and that led me actually. So thank you for your short, as much as I give you a hard time, to check out some of the stuff that's happening that Tim posted. So it's pretty much like not June, but not sure when. Like could be July, could be August, could be September is where we're at. Do I have that right?
Yeah, I think they're just open ending it because they don't want to be wrong more than once.
Which is really interesting because like they were.
You know,
they were very much like, we're headed for this. We're setting on dates. You're good with it. And yeah, the exact statement was, there's no official date for the merge yet. A date will only be set once client teams are confident that software implementation has been thoroughly tested and are bug free. Any date announcement will be communicated, and it gave it there. So I thought it was really interesting because it's like, now we're not even talking dates. We're not even talking months now. It's just like, when it's ready, it's going to be ready. Which I'm actually kind of glad, because like they've consistently done this whole like, oh, we're setting this date and then they just can't meet it type of deal. It's like they could just go like when it's ready. And even when it's ready, like let's say it's ready in a month from now. Well, they still have to go ahead and then set what they have to decide on what difficulty it's going to be at. And it's not going to be like, oh, the difficulty tomorrow. They'll set it out probably 3 months to be like, okay, based on our calculations, the difficulty is going to be XYZ. And that's when it's actually going to occur. So I am very thrilled. You know, I'd love to get some more ETH in my pocket. And I think any miner would at this point. Plus, I'm kind of tired of talking about it. to be honest with you.
Yeah, the same
dude,
question, like what to mine next and all that stuff.
Yep.
I mean, I get it. I get why people ask it, but yeah, it does get old just because, like, how many times can you say we don't know? Like, it's
like there's
we
no
really
answer.
don't know. It sucks. Like, I wish we knew, trust me, but yeah, there's really no way to tell people easy. We just have no idea. Mining could go south for a good while, but we don't know. But yeah, no, I'm super excited about the merge not happening this soon.
I'm looking on their website because it's used to say, I think Q2, I think it said for a while, 2022, and now it just says straight up 2022 is the estimate. They removed as far as what I can see, I think I'm on the same spot. It just, they removed the quarter estimation from it. So I think I agree 100% with Chump Change, where it's like for any of us or anybody that's bought GPUs just recently, it's like, all right, cool. I got a little bit more time. But like there's now that uncertainty as when could it be? Like if they said December, then it gives you, all right, let me maybe go buy some more. For now, there's just like this weird unknown, which honestly might be the best for everybody. So nobody's running out and getting burnt, and then they're not stuck to some date they can't hit. But it's just like for anybody, I think that's been mining for a while and maybe is feeling good about where they're at. It's like you could kind of sigh of relief. You got a little more time, but for anybody that's maybe looking to expand or get into mining, there's still a lot of uncertainty around it of like what you should do.
You could be DJ Mines and just went ahead and got excited about a 4 gigahash farm. It's like, yeah, ETH merge is pushed off. Let's go buy it.
But did you hear the price he paid for that?
23 grand.
Oh my God. Like, I absolutely would have dished out that money in like 2 seconds. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. How many cards did you get? I'm like, get out of here. Like, this guy took a huge hit. I'm like, his
supporting hardware.
No, he just sold that to you, and he's getting beat up as soon as you leave. Like, in the story. Like, there's no chance. I'm like, oh my God. But hey, dude, good for him. He is. I mean, honestly, that he's got balls of steel, because most people wouldn't be like, right now, like, no, we're not doing that. But I mean, it was a big deal.
Yeah, the fact he has a supporting hardware with it too is because people don't realize, like, mining is not just the cost of the graphics card, especially when you have that many GPUs. It comes down to the supporting hardware, and that adds up. It really does. Boards and power supplies and everything like that. It's like, that's a hefty price. So being able to get all that, I mean, all the rigs already built too, saves you all that effort and time. It's like, hell yeah, put them in place. I mean, part of me would feel like I'd want to do my own GPU maintenance on them, but at the same time, you kind of want to start getting those mining. So I totally understand. So yeah, I'm excited to see where he puts them. I think, did you talk about a garage or a?
So he has like a shed up north, I guess, or somewhere near where he lives, kind of. I think it's like a half hour away or something. But he's putting 400 amps in there, and he's gonna have like a whole hot cold dial type deal, I believe, like ASIC up to the back wall and vent out type deal. But I mean, I would be so nervous doing that, to be honest. Like, it's just because it's so far away, or like even being 20 minutes, a half hour away, even if you have security cameras, what the hell are you going to do? And you can call the cops, but like, if they're going to get there fast enough and someone's robbing you, I'd put like steel doors. I'd be terrified.
I wonder how he's doing internet there. I'd be curious to find out. Like, that'd be a perfect example for Starlink if you needed to. Just like little Starlinks and be good to go for your internet. That'd be awesome.
Thanks, what is that? Is that like a satellite thing?
Correct. Yeah. So what it is a low orbit satellite based internet service. And the nice thing is it's not traditional satellite that you think. And Mike, you might know more about it. But the nice thing is like your bandwidth speeds are phenomenal. Like companies like Google and Verizon have really struggled to expand their infrastructure in the US because of all the politics going through towns, things like that, who's polls who's stuff. So all of them has said, screw it. We're just going, satellite route. And it's low orbit and it's a mesh network. So like there's hundreds of satellites and you can get pretty much this internet anywhere. And
so what is this panel that's on the roof? Like,
so the panel is the receiving side.
So it's not solar, it's like a satellite legit on your roof?
Straight satellite comes down and it goes right into your modem and bam, there's your internet. And the ping times are good and the speeds are good. And I mean, there's an upfront cost. I think they even increased it. It's like $400 or $500 or $600-700. But
is there a monthly thing? Or is
it's an internet service. Yep. It's just like an internet service you pay for it. There's just an upfront installation. But the nice thing is like anybody who's a miner, Like if you're in places that, or anybody that, you know, needs internet remotely that doesn't have a good service, like this is
Yeah,
clutch for you.
yeah, because like so when we go camping, right, in my place up north,
Yeah,
on
bring it
my
with you.
property,
Yep.
zero service, like
Yeah.
none. So, but like you get out of the like my land and take a left 20 feet, you get service. It's like what the hell? But like where we sit, like no
Yep.
service. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you could do one of
That's
these
cool.
into the modem, and then from the modem you could
Right.
just go to like a wireless router and just give it power, and bam, you're done.
Yeah, that's amazing. I
You
never
get
even knew.
internet.
I heard about this, but I
Yeah.
never, I forgot all about it after the person said it. I don't even know who mentioned it. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, it's
On
pretty
the
cool.
on the topic of you know, we were talking about the merge for a little bit. And one of the things I was thinking about, I think we all are participating at this point in other types of miners besides GPUs. And I guess one of the things I was wondering about was, and I'm seeing some people really invest in Bitcoin mining because it's like unfazed, right? Ethereum goes away, who cares? I got ASICs mining Bitcoin, and like those are going to be good until they're, you know, end of life because something new came out. So I was like thinking about for myself, like, all right, what else am I kind of involved in that will be unaffected by whatever happens with GPU mining and Ethereum? And, you know, I got a Bitcoin ASIC. I got an FPGA that can do something else, probably pretty successfully. I got the gold shell mini Doge, right? That'll just keep rolling.
Yep.
But I was like, huh, is there? And I got the helium miners, which still have to get set up. And I'm just like, I wonder if there's anything else that I should be thinking about that will just be fine, right? And be fine and keep doing its thing. But I guess I'll turn it over to you guys. Like, what are you currently involved in that's going to be unaffected no matter what Ethereum decides to do? Maybe some other things you're even possibly thinking about getting involved in that would be unaffected by what Ethereum decides to do. Why don't you get us started, Chump Change?
So myself, I got the mini Doges. That's you know, one thing. The what are they? Dual mine Litecoin and Doge.
Litecoin.
Yeah.
I have the Antminer S9, but I mean I don't run it just because it's not profitable. But it is. Maybe I'll plug it back in. But the thing is power hungry, man, and my power bill is just right. I would not agree with it. But I mean, besides that, and the helium miner too, I got that. But that's really peanuts because they did something in the network where it's like less. You get paid less now every transaction, or you're allowed to not see you're not allowed to get like signals as often or something.
Witnesses
as often.
Such,
so they changed like the rules of that. But yeah, I mean, really, that's it. I would like to get into like the Bitcoin mining ASIC stuff, but I would have to get the proper stuff, I guess, like the best one. But I don't want to spend that kind of money. I don't know. You know what I mean? It comes to the upfront cost. Like ASICs are just so damn expensive. Unless like, I mean, you can make the money back, but I don't know. It's just the fact of dishing out that much money. It's scary. Like I'll spend $2,000 on a GPU, but I won't spend $7,000 on an ASIC. It makes no sense. It really makes no sense. But it's just like a logical thing. You look at it and you're like, damn.
I think it's because that, you know, the GPU, you know, worst case scenario, that's going to have some value.
Right.
You know, and multi-use, and like the ASICs, like I could spend 7, 12, 20 grand on this thing right now, and I could that money could just be gone, and I like made a bad mistake. GPUs, I never really feel that way. I was just like, worst case scenario, I'll sell this to somebody and recoup something. Yeah, but I think that is a good point for ASIC mining. Bet you Hobbyist.
So first off, I want to say it's really funny because when I first met Red Fox, he was like, ETH, 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 ETH. Like, that's it. Like, I only mine ETH. And now he's starting to diversify a little bit. And I like it. And I'm happy to hear. Yeah, right? But
yeah, it just came out. Take it easy.
I know. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, Dad. But no, I have definitely started to find myself venturing down that route of diversifying away from GPUs. You know, I haven't bought any GPUs in a few months now, I guess. Yeah, about 2 or 3 months now. The 6600s were the last ones I purchased. And, you know, we talked about it there. You know, I'm running a few of the Doge miner, Litecoin miners as well. And I actually have a Handshake mini miner or mini ASIC. And I also have a Starcoin one that I need to set up and do with some partnerships as well. So I'm getting into some of those. And, outside of that, the Jazz Miner, have that in with ETC, and that's been great and profitable there. And I got the ASIC now with the Bitcoin mining, and the diversity I really like, and I'm finding myself like really gravitating towards that more. It's interesting how like the age of these mini ASIC miners is really kind of popping off right now. Like it just seems like they're kind of everywhere, and I'd love to get my hands on like a KDA one, because the way that KDA has been looking more recently and stuff, and they just came out with a KDA Pro. So it's really interesting. Like that's the way like things are gravitating. And I think Voscoin actually did a video not too long ago talking about just kind of some of the history of mining, and how a lot of it's moving towards those now, of these like mini ASIC miners, because they're home miners, they're within reason, the price isn't insane, it's obtainable, and there is something nice to be able to load up like my Exodus wallet, and I hear a bunch of cha-chings, and it's just a little bit of everything. And it's like, great. Like I like to see and hear that like all my wallets are moving in the same direction, and it's multiple different ones. It's not just committed to one. And I think that's where I'm at, where it's like with so much uncertainty on the horizon, people ask us 1,000, what should I do? What should I mine? What should I buy? It's like, diversify right now. Like that's my answer I tell people. It's like, we don't know where things are going to go, so diversify. So I've been happy with it, and it's been a great learning experience, and yeah, hopefully it continues.
Yeah, I think too, the other ones you saw, I think Red Panda just did the video on that. They're like the quiet ASICs. I think he did it in his kitchen.
The lights,
right?
The lights, yeah.
So it's like a step up from the minis, then you get into that before you get into like the big boys.
What, the LT light?
Yeah, the lights are the mid
light,
ones.
whatever.
Yeah, so like definitely some focus on people want to do this at home, and maybe GPUs aren't going to be the thing, or they're not for them. So like here's an appliance essentially you could buy and plug in, and it won't like destroy your living space by its noise and heat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just thinking about that as I was moving forward and trying to figure out if there's anything else I want to get involved in. I think I didn't get to dive in, but I think there's some like lower power, maybe quieter Bitcoin miners I've seen on some channels popping up of people doing reviews on. So I don't know, I'm kind of like keeping my options open to know that like that stuff will just be okay until it's worthless, versus like there could be a moment in time this year where I might not be able to use it. So that's what I've been thinking about.
Yeah, I hate to put all my eggs in one basket. Like, it's like, yeah, ETH is awesome, and like it's profitable and it's great, but it's like when you start to look at things more, and like you're looking at it more from the investment hat on versus the miner hat, it's like, okay, how should I diversify my portfolio, and what else can I get into, and what's, as you said, like stable and unaffected. And like I keep going back to Bitcoin, where it's like, all right, Bitcoin's at like 41 right now. It's like great, but it's like we all know deep down that that's going to continue to grow. Like over the next few years, we know it is. So it's like, are we missing out by not putting more attention and effort into Bitcoin? And that's what I think about a lot when I'm like, like I do need to be, like I do got to be, mining more towards this. And that's kind of why I put my 580s towards it, just to have that wallet just keep going up a little bit until I get my like S19J Pro up. It's like, that is where I keep going back to, where it's like, all right, what's my short term, but what really is long term here? Like let's talk 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road. It's like we know Bitcoin is still going to be there. We know Bitcoin is, the staple there. So that's where it's like, am I making wrong moves like with some of my other decisions? So that's just kind of got my eyes in crosshairs. I've been listening to DJ Mines more and more. He went to the Bitcoin conference and some of the directions he's been talking about. It's like, you're not wrong, brother. You're not wrong at all. So, yeah. It's
really, that's something that has really influenced my strategies after the first couple of years, and it's such a balance because thankfully I mined coins like Flux and Raven early on, but for every one of those, there's like 30 others that I wasted electricity on. But that's like over this last year and a half, you make fun of me and say ETH, but it's just like, okay, what has time proved to me is that like Ethereum and Bitcoin are the ones. And if I need my short term, break even with Ethereum, great. Then I'm going to mine that to pay off these GPUs. And I also believe in that, it's going to go up in the long term. But when I think about, to your point, like 10 years from now, I want to have as much Bitcoin as I can possibly have, because I really believe in that. And history at this point, is showing like it's just going to keep going up, and that's the one. So like all of that has really informed, you know, over probably the last year and a half or more of like where I've really put my attention and what I'm mining and keeping it really simple, because I'm thinking about 10 years from now and not thinking about what's that quick buck, maybe that one I can mine that's really going to pay off. I think there's a certain balance there. That's why I call it spec mining, but there's something to be said about, you know, the Bitcoin Ethereum train, you know, rolling on into the future, at least in my opinion. What do you think, Chump Change?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, it's like I said, it really just comes down to, for me, the whole price point of ASICs, and then on top of it, the noise. You got to figure out that and the heat. It's, you know, literally, it's just everything gets you with an ASIC, but I don't know. It's really mostly the money, like buying or spending that much money on one unit that could potentially die. Like it just be a doorstop. Like that's what scares me. There's no versatility to it. Like it just does one thing and that's it. You know?
Yep.
I don't know. It's scary, but I mean, I would love to get into them. I would love to get, you know, that S19J Pro, but it's like, I don't know. I don't need it. You know what I mean? I don't need it to do this YouTube stuff. So it's, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I might sell GPUs at some point, but probably not. I'll probably just run them until they die.
Takes all the shrouds off of him and just sits on him like a throne.
Dude, that's it, man. Yeah, they're going to be all over this wall behind me at some point. You'll see it.
All right, dudes, we are pretty much hitting an hour. So anything last things on your mind? We'll turn it over to Hobbyist first, or anything we can look forward to on your channel or in your community over the next week or so? As you're muted. No, he's not.
Sorry, I coughed earlier and I muted out on it. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to start to look at some other things. As I said, you know, I'll have my first ASIC, so I'm excited to dive into that and start to do that. I got the shed coming up here shortly too. Excited for that. So yeah, it's just a little different content, you know, coming up, less GPU focused, but still mining, you know, and I think that'll be great. So I'm excited to get into a lot of these projects coming up, especially when it's new. And it's like, hey, I've never booted up an ASIC, like a bigger ASIC before, configured it. Looking forward to that. The shed is, you know, a little bit outside of my skill set. It's going to be a cluster, but it should be fun. So, you know, I love learning. So I'm looking forward to it over the next few weeks.
How about you, Chump Change? Anything, other things on your mind, or what we can look forward to in your madness on your YouTube channel coming up?
So, solar. That's what I gotta get set up. So I got to, I don't know. I've been trying to figure out the best way to go about it. So when I set it up, it needs to be, you know, in one spot. It can't just be moving around. So I have to mount the inverter and the batteries somewhere and be able to run to the panels. And that's like my biggest challenge. So I might have to get the trailer from A to B and then get everything into there before I can actually get on the solar. But I did want to end up doing it in the next couple of days, at least to get it up and running just to test. But again, I don't want to freaking break it down like more than once, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm learning as I go. So yeah, I don't know. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, the crypto mining trailer and solar power mining, we're going to see how that goes. I don't know how well it's going to go, but hopefully it does something. You know, at least run a CPU miner. Who knows? We'll see.
Can't wait.
Nice. Well, for me, I'm going to finish my taxes over the next couple of days down to the last minute. And then I will get some more GPUs mining is my goal. That's it. That's all I'm focused on. And then I'll figure out the heat shortly after that. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining for this episode of Mining Roundtable. I'm Mike Red Fox, saying so long from both me, the Hobbyist Miner, and ChumpChangeXD. Hope everybody has a wonderful week, wonderful day, whatever it is you got. And please take care of yourself, take care of each other. And I'll see you in the next Mining Roundtable in the next videos. Peace.
Peace.